over. Shawn Kemp would forcibly take his talents to Cleveland in 1997, in a move that came with high hopes but quickly turned into just disappointments. He was out of shape entering training camp, overweight, and struggling to regain the athleticism that made him a force.
All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Hope you all are having a good day so far. So yesterday we did part one of the dark side of NBA Stardom. And if you haven't watched part one yet, I highly suggest you watch that. But if you want to watch it after this one, I think it'll work too, because honestly, these aren't in any order. It's just a bunch of stories of, the dark side of becoming an NBA star. We had a couple of really sad ones, but we ended with Vin Baker, which I don't want to spoil it for anybody, so I'm just going to leave it like that. But damn, man, some of these stories they go deep and they get pretty dark. So I'm not going to do a long intro. If you guys want to watch that one first, go for it. If not, let's ride on ahead. Once again, this is from Swish County, and this is one of the best videos I think I've seen from Swish. So I'm linking the original from Swish down below in the description if you guys want to check it out. It's right there for you. Everybody else, please leave this video a like. It helps out a ton. And let's finish this off. Let's see what other stories we got.
Whatever hole you're in. Lorenzen Wright's story is the one that should have ended with a fairy tale happily ever after finish. Lorenzen was looked at as a hero. He worked hard to achieve success at the highest level of professional basketball, and seemed to want nothing more than to give back to his community. It all sounds good and fun, right? Well, what if I told you that Lorenzen Wright's story is one of the most bone-chilling and infuriating in basketball history? Lorenzen's journey began with great promise. As a kid growing up in Memphis, from day one, this guy was the hometown hero, taking his talents to the University of Memphis, where he became a standout star. Lorenzen was a solid big guy all around. He was never Mr. Dominant or anything, but as a walking double-double, he was one of the most consistent and solid players at the collegiate level, which was enough to earn him the 7th overall pick in the 1996 NBA draft by the Los Angeles Clippers. As a rookie...
I'm sorry, what year?
Overall pick in the 1996 NBA draft by the Los Angeles Clippers. As a rookie, Lorenzen showed glimpses of his potential, scoring a postseason career-high 17 points in a Game 2 loss against the Utah Jazz on April 26th. Though the Clippers lost the series, Wright's talent was up and coming. The following season, on December 26th, he recorded a season-high 33 points and 15 rebounds in an overtime loss to the Los Angeles Lakers. In 1999, Wright joined the Atlanta Hawks, where he played some of his best basketball. During the 01 season, he averaged a career-high 12.4 points. Before on June 27, 2001, Wright was traded to the Memphis Grizzlies, where he would continue to play some of his best ball. Wright was never really a star, and at his best was a low double-digit scoring big guy that played his role like the next dude. But as a hometown kid balling out, it's still hard to find people saying a bad word about this kid.
Okay.
Off the court, Wright was known for his generosity. He established the Sierra Simone Wright Scholarship Fund in honor of his infant daughter, who passed away in 2003.
I'm going to be real. I don't know much about Lorenzen, so this is cool. I'm learning all about this.
I mean, Lorenzen seems to be your typical role model in the community. He recognized his extremely abnormal blessing, seemed to use the opportunity to give back to those who lacked basic necessities, as well as treating everyday people like his equal. It was all that you could really ask of a guy. Wright had a successful run in the NBA. He played for 13 seasons, earning $55 million in the process. All was well. Wright set his focus after his playing days to graduating college and caring for his 6 children with his wife Shara Wright. What happens next is, unfortunately, where the life and legacy of Lorenzen Wright takes one wicked turn. It is largely speculated that after his playing days, Wright ran into some financial issues. It is also believed that these issues were due to Shara having access to Lorenzen's fountain of wealth, in which she felt free to spend it wildly.
Oh boy.
As the fountain began to run dry, issues arose. Lorenzen was forced to take to illegal methods to further provide for his family before in 2010 the two would file for divorce. Are you kidding me? Lorenzen would relocate to the Atlanta area, wherein after visiting the mother of his kid's house in Memphis 5 months after the divorce, it was the last time that he would be seen alive.
What?
On July 22nd, his family filed a missing persons report. 6 days later, his body was found in a wooded area near Memphis with gunshot wounds, and his body so decayed from the Memphis heat that his 200-pound frame weighed just 50 pounds. A chilling 911 call made from Wright's phone in the early hours of July 19th captured gunshots before the line went silent. However, the call was not immediately acted upon, delaying the investigation. Why the hell the 911 operator didn't believe that 11 gunshots fired were not worthy of reporting, especially when the person on the line would go missing just a few days later, is just another one of the abnormalities within the case. Lorenzen was declared dead of homicide, but for 7 years following the murder, the killer or killers walked free. Thousands of people attended Wright's funeral at the FedEx Forum. Speakers included then Memphis Mayor A.C. Wharton. He was a young man who never forgot who he was, where he came from, the values that shaped him, and the people who encouraged him along the way, said Wharton. Lorenzen's story was one of those special Memphis stories where a man is able to transcend his roots even while he represents those roots proudly. By December 2010, hope of a quick resolution to the case had faded. Authorities said that only 22 tips had came in, and Crime Stoppers executive director Buddy Chapman said that none of them were substantive. Lorenzen Wright was a wild mystery, and a devastating tragedy to the many lives he touched in his 34 years on this planet. Until in 2017, the case quickly flipped. The murder weapon would be found, and very shortly after, Billy R. Turner, a local landscaper and church deacon, was charged with first-degree murder. In December 2017, Wright's ex-wife Shara Wright Robinson was also arrested in connection with his death.
Damn it,
Authorities alleged financial motives, citing a $1 million life insurance policy intended for the couple's 6 children. However, following Wright's death, his family would be disturbed to learn that the money went towards expensive cars, vacations, and clothing for Shara, rather than caring for the children that are unfortunately growing up without their father.
God, he married a terrible woman. Terrible woman. Man, everybody out there, if you meet someone and all they want to do is spend your money, and that's what, that's why they love you and give you attention, that's not love, man. They love money, and you happen to have money. This is so sad to go this far, to kill him for money. The guy plays his ass off, gets in the NBA, earns millions of dollars. She spends it all. He has to do whatever he can, even selling drugs, in order to make more money for her to spend. Then they get divorced, and then she has him killed because there's a life insurance. There's $1 million in life insurance. And then what does she do? She blew it in 10 months. Man. Damn.
In 2019, 9 years after the death of Lorenzen Wright, Shara would plead guilty to orchestrating the murder, in which she would be charged with 30 years behind bars. Lorenzen's story is one of the wildest in NBA history. It really goes to show how your actions can not only affect your own life, but the world around you. Now, nearly 15 years after his tragic passing, Lorenzen's scholarship program is still helping hundreds of kids, while his legacy as a role model in his community lived long beyond him. On the flip side, the disgusting selfishness of others have not only ruined their own lives, but left an innocent man dead, and 6 innocent children without a parent in their life. Shara will be eligible for parole in 2027.
Did he say 6 children?
Not only ruined their own lives, but left an innocent man dead, and 6 innocent children without a parent in their life.
So she blew that $1 million on vacations and probably who God knows what in 10 months, and not a lick of it went to the kids. Great person. Great person. Careful who you marry, y'all. Be very careful who you marry, y'all.
Shara will be eligible for parole in 2027, and if granted, will allow Shara to walk the streets once again after just 9 years behind bars for orchestrating the murder of her children's father.
9 years?
Kermit Washington's basketball...
Man, keep her there. Keep her there. She's guilty of murder.
Journey is a story of raw talent, resilience, and ultimately tragedy.
All right,
both
next
on
one.
and off the courts. Born on September 17th, 1951 in Washington, D.C., he grew up in a challenging environment but found solace and purpose in basketball. Playing at American University, Kermit became one of the most dominant players in NCAA history,
Kermit D.
averaging
Washington.
20 and 20 per game over his collegiate career. This rare feat, only achieved by a select few, established him as a top prospect for the NBA. In 1973, the Los Angeles Lakers selected Washington with the 5th overall pick in the NBA draft. Known for his toughness, defense, and rebounding ability, Washington quickly carved out a role as a reliable forward. Over his 10-year career, he played for several teams including the Celtics, Clippers, Trailblazers, and Warriors. His hard work and dedication culminated in an All-Star selection in 1980 while with the Trailblazers, a testament to his value on the court. Despite his basketball accomplishments, Washington's career will forever be overshadowed by a single moment that defined him in the eyes of the public. On December 9th, 1977, during a heated game between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Houston Rockets, a scuffle broke out at center court.
Oh no.
As Rudy Tomjanovich the Rockets sprinted towards the fight to intervene, Washington turned and delivered a devastating punch that connected with Tomjanovich's face. The blow left Tomjanovich with catastrophic injuries, including a fractured skull, spinal damage, and life-threatening internal bleeding. I mean, this wasn't just a knockout blow.
Oh man, I didn't know that was him. I've seen this clip a bunch of times. Yeah. It's one thing getting punched in the face. It's another thing when full speed running, that kind of momentum, combined with a dude just standing their ground and popping you full power in the face. Oh my God. That's like that's like a straight up arch rival punch times 10. Damn. I'm glad Rudy ended up being, he survived this and he had all the success he had with the Rockets and all that after this. But damn, I'll never forget this punch.
Killed the man. A single sucker punch left the man tasting spinal fluid leaking into his mouth and the bone structure of his face detached from his skull. The aftermath of the punch was seismic, both for Tomjanovich and for Washington. Rudy required extensive surgery and rehabilitation, sidelining him for 5 months, though he eventually returned to the game.
What a freaking...
Washington, the incident irreparably damaged his reputation. The NBA suspended him for 60 days without pay and fined him $10,000, a steep penalty at the time.
I know, it's crazy. If you compare this to like the Ron Artest, the Malice in a Palace situation, this is crazy that it's only 60 days and 10 grand. Things were different back then.
Public backlash was swift and intense, with many calling for harsher punishment, including lifelong bans or police intervention. Letters flocked to his doorstep, calling him racial slurs and threatening his safety. The punch became one of the most infamous moments in NBA history.
That's true. This could have gone to court. This is beyond the game of basketball here.
And cast a long shadow over Washington's career. Despite being an all-star before the blow, he found himself vilified, and his opportunities in the league quickly dwindled. After retiring from playing, Washington hoped to transition into coaching, but the incident haunted him, preventing him from securing a stable position despite his qualifications and experience. Off the courts,
I wonder, did he apologize? Did he speak out on it? Did he express any regret? Or did he just say, fuck it,
Washington faced significant personal struggles. In 2016, his name resurfaced in headlines when he was indicted on charges of embezzlement and fraud. Prosecutors accused Washington of misusing funds from Project Contact Africa, a charity that he managed that was created to provide aid to impoverished communities in Africa.
Oh, crap. Yeah, Brett Favre did something similar recently.
Instead, Washington embezzled nearly $500,000 in donations, using the money for personal expenses, including jewelry and vacations. He was arrested in LA on May 26, 2016, and the indictment, unsealed the following day, further tarnished his already controversial legacy.
Good. This charity fraud disgusts me, especially when you hear the crap that he's spending it on, all this selfish crap. Pretend like you're, a charitable person, you're running an organization, and you just I hate it when people act like they give a damn about other people, and then they end up being this type of person. It's disgusting to me.
For many,
Selfish.
Kermit Washington serves a cautionary tale about how a single moment can alter the trajectory of a life and career. His story is a complex mix of athletic excellence, personal challenges, and lapses in judgment that completely destroyed his life. It's a reminder that even the most talented athletes are not immune to consequences for their action. From an all-star forward to a man destroyed by his own scandal, the NBA needed to make sure something like this never happened again, and Kermit Washington was the example. Shawn Kemp's rise to fame during the 1990s is a captivating tale of raw athleticism, high-flying dunks, and massive expectations.
Okay, I know how this one ends. I'm not going to tell you. You guys got to find out.
Known as the Rain Man, Kemp was one of the most explosive and exciting players to watch during his prime. As a crucial part of one of the best teams of his era, Shawn Kemp reached some sky-high heights.
Yes, sir.
But the level he reached just made his fall splat even harder at the bottom. Kemp's basketball journey began in Elkhart, Indiana, where he made a name for himself in high school, leading his team to a state championship and becoming Elkhart County's all-time leading scorer. However, Kemp's path to the NBA would not be straightforward. His college career was derailed by poor grades and legal issues, leading him to leave Kentucky and briefly play at Trinity Valley College before declaring for the 1989 NBA draft. Selected 17th overall by the Supersonics, Kemp's early years in the NBA were marked by flashes of brilliance, though he didn't immediately explode onto the scene. It wasn't until 1993 that Kemp truly made his mark.
Yeah.
With impressive averages of 18.5 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks per game from 93 to 98.
I mean, he got so famous so fast, he might just be the best player on, or at least I'll say the best dunker on NBA Jam. Like, he was fantastic. This duo right there between Peyton and Kemp was awesome.
Play alongside Gary Payton helped elevate the Supersonics into a championship contending team. Despite being one of the best teams in the league during the 1994 and 96 seasons, the Sonics faced disappointing playoff exits, including a historic upset by the Denver Nuggets in 1994, losing to the 8th seed, and a loss to the Chicago Bulls in the 96 finals, just inches away from touching gold. In the finals, Kemp was a standout, averaging 23 and 10, but despite his heroic efforts, the Bulls dynasty proved too much.
Don't feel bad. No one beat MJ in the finals. It's not just them.
To this date, may still be one of the best teams to not win a chip because holy hell were these...
Oh, shout out to not only Detlef, but also Hershey and Sam Perkins, man. That's a cool team.
Guys, incredible. Shawn and Gary were a duo in the purest form, as everything revolved around them. The glove could penetrate and create offense on his own, but the inward gravity of Shawn Kemp rolling to the basket created space for supporting pieces like Hershey Hawkins and Detlef Schrempf to put up stellar averages. This team clicked like very few. Kemp was reaching heights he had never seen, and it truly felt like a matter of time before Seattle was back on top. Unfortunately, the downfall of Shawn Kemp was sooner than we could have possibly imagined.
Yeah, it started with contract. It was money. He wanted more money. And then, yeah, I'll let it play out.
By the 1996-1997 season, Kemp's off-court struggles started to overshadow his on-court success. Reports of him showing up drunk to practice and partying late into the night before games.
Okay, they didn't cover it. So before he gets into the alcohol and all this stuff, he's talked about this very recently, and it was over contract, a contract situation. You know, they just went to the finals, all that stuff. He felt like he was one of the top players in the NBA, and I kind of agree. He wanted a big contract, and Seattle wasn't willing to give it to him. And he said that that disrespect to him started him down a pathway of depression, and the depression led to alcohol. And then we started seeing the ultimate downfall of Shawn Kemp, which is what they're going to cover here.
Raised questions about his commitments. One infamous incident occurred the night before a February 1997 game against the Chicago Bulls, where Kemp was reportedly intoxicated and completely shit the bed that game. His diminishing interest...
Okay, I didn't know about that. Good job, Swish. Good job. I didn't know about that. So then the alcohol issues were. So there were alcohol issues before the contract negotiations then. Okay. That changes things a little bit.
Discipline became apparent, and in the following season, the Sonics mirrored that lack of interest, creating tension over this lowball contract offer. Shawn Kemp would forcibly take his talents to Cleveland in 1997, in a move that came with high hopes but quickly turned into just disappointment.
Yeah.
He was out of shape entering training camp, overweight, and struggling to regain the athleticism that made him a force. His off-court issues continued, including reports of fathering multiple children with different women, and struggling with weight loss due to alcohol consumption. The 1998-1999 season was marked by lockouts and Kemp showing up massively overweight at 315 pounds.
Wow. Coach, I didn't think we were coming back. Whoa.
To further struggles on the court. His behavior became more erratic, and in 2000 he was traded to the Portland Trail Blazers. Unfortunately, his career was in a full-on free fall, and he was checked into a drug rehabilitation center during the 2001 season for cocaine abuse.
Damn, it happened fast.
Despite efforts to reclaim his former self, Kemp's career never rebounded. His final years in the NBA were uneventful on the floor and way too eventful off of it. The sight of the man who was once soaring through the sky being pitifully ineffective due to his weight dragging him down to the floor left one of the most ungraceful ends to an NBA career that the game has ever seen.
I mean, it's as drastic as like he was lean back then. Could you imagine if like Wemby in 5 years looks like this? Like, that's drastic.
Sadly, Kemp's downfall is pretty much as widely known as his run of dominance. It's hard to write the story of basketball without Kemp's name and his role on those iconic Supersonics teams. And as we look back now, Kemp's still among some of the most entertaining and electrifying athletes to ever play the game.
Dude, because his prime was so short, a lot of people forget about him, but he was on the path to be like one of the top 50 players of all time.
However, the dude who once seemed closer to Superman than to you and me went out a drug-addicted fat alcoholic, to put it bluntly. Kemp would go on to drain the vast majority of his finances after the conclusion of his career,
Yeah, drugs will do
which
that.
he earned $90 million due to his drug addiction and child support payments.
Oh.
Although one of the most infamous downfalls in history, at least in Kemp's case following his NBA career, he did seem to get back close to Rain Man shape while trying to make his return, though given his reputation was never given another shot. Kemp's also found some success outside of basketball in the cannabis business, and although his life ended up a bit better than others we've covered, I'm sure we all wish he could have done it without damaging his legacy in the way that he did.
Yeah, for real.
Elvin Murphy's life is a mix of athletic greatness.
Dang, man. Yeah, the Shawn Kemp one hits hard. But he's still alive. He's still all right. I saw him do a one-on-one podcast with Gary Payton. Very heartfelt. Very hard to watch, but also like, you know, those two are like they're brothers. They're brothers still. But man, Shawn Kemp went down a dark path, but he's still alive, you know? So it's not a terrible ending because he's still alive and he's got money now because he's got a business and there's hope for him, you know? A lot better than some of these other endings.
Personal turmoil. Standing at just 5'9" and weighing 165 pounds, Murphy defied expectations, becoming one of the better point guards in NBA history. Despite his small stature, he played 13 seasons for the Houston Rockets, achieving career averages of 18 points and 4 assists per game. Known for his agility, deadly jump shot, and leadership, Murphy was selected as an All-Star once and inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 1993.
All right, this should be cool. I know Calvin Murphy. I don't know about his story though.
He remains the shortest player ever inducted.
Wow.
Murphy's college career was equally impressive. At Niagara University, he once scored 68 points in a single game, a feat that earned him widespread recognition and a spot in the 1970 NBA draft, where he was selected by the Houston Rockets. Throughout his NBA career, Murphy proved that height didn't define a player's success. He was quick and explosive, using his speed to navigate around taller opponents. His best season came in 1976 when he averaged 21 points and 7 assists per game. Despite his size, he became the first player into 6 feet to score 15,000 career points, a testament to his incredible skill. Murphy was one of the most energizing players in basketball history that found success that should have not been possible. But off the court, Murphy's life was fraught with complications. He fathered 14 children with 9 different
Damn.
women, a fact that led to financial struggles and strained relationships with his kids. During his playing career,
But
NBA
what did I see? The narrative seems to be either Shawn Kemp or Dwight Howard are in the lead for baby mamas, but Murphy has got to be at the top. Oh, man. Oh, no. I didn't want to see that. Damn.
struggles and strained relationships with his kids. During his playing career, NBA players didn't make massive salaries like they do today, and Murphy had difficulty supporting such a large family. Many of his children lived in different parts of the country, making it difficult for him to maintain close relationships. As a result, the children from Murphy's extramarital affairs often felt neglected, leading to deep family tensions. And in 2004, Murphy found himself embroiled in a legal battle that threatened to ruin his life.
Oh, boy.
He was accused of molesting 5 of his daughters, who were between the ages of 6 and 13 at the time of the alleged abuse in the 1990s.
6 and
The case
13?
was sensational, and if he had been convicted,
Wait.
he could have faced the 90s. The case was sensational, and if he had been convicted, he could have faced life in prison. The prosecution claimed that Murphy had repeatedly abused his daughters in a span of several years. 4 of the daughters, now adults, testified in a court, detailing the abuse they allegedly suffered. The courtroom drama was intense, and the accusations painted a man who had exploited his own children. However, Murphy's defense team argued that the allegations were the result of long-standing resentment and jealousy. They claimed the accusations stemmed from the tension between Murphy and the children from his extramarital affairs, and that the daughters were seeking revenge for their strained relationships with him.
All 5? All 5 daughters? Like, they all testified? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if we can just blame it on the angry ex-wife. I don't know.
Murphy's legal team painted him as a man who had made mistakes in his personal life, but had never committed the heinous acts that he was accused of. The trial was confusing at times, as some of Murphy's daughters defended him, including 2 from his ex-wife's marriage. At one point, the court struggled to keep track of his sprawling family, making the case even more convoluted.
Okay, that changes things. If some are defending him and some aren't. Sounds like a messy court case. I'm just going to keep my opinion to myself because obviously I don't know. I don't know what really went down. I hope he didn't do it for those girls' sake. That is, I hope he didn't do it.
Despite the gravity of the accusations, the jury found Murphy not guilty. They determined that the testimony from the 5 daughters was unreliable, and that it had been influenced by resentment stemming from Murphy's treatment to them. The jury concluded that there was no credible evidence to support the charges of abuse. The defense also pointed to a conflict of interest regarding a retirement account that 3 of the 5 daughters attempted to claim 1 month before the charges were made that were redirected to Murphy after the death of their mother. After the trial, Murphy attempted to rebuild relationships with his surviving children, hoping to heal the rift that had formed over the years. The legal battle took a heavy toll on him, both emotionally and professionally, as you can expect. He lost his job as a local broadcaster for the Houston Rockets following the public scandal.
Wow.
However, in 2012, he was reinstated to his position, and his life seemed to take a turn for the better. Over the years, he worked on rebuilding his family relationships, and despite the chaos in his personal life, he found some measure of peace. While his basketball career is remembered for breaking barriers and his undeniable talent, Kelvin Murphy's personal life is one of the most complex and gut-wrenching no matter which way you look at it.
Damn.
Isaiah Ryder's
Jesus. Okay. I think this is the last one, you guys. These are so heavy. These are so heavy. Whew. Okay. Isaiah Ryder, let's do it.
basketball journey is a tale of immense talent overshadowed by personal missteps and off-court struggles. Born on March 12, 1971 in Oakland, California, Ryder, often referred to by JR, rose to prominence with a unique blend of athleticism and skill that made him one of the most electrifying players of his era.
He made a splash.
Yet, his promising career, which should have been remembered for highlight reels and accolades, became a cautionary tale of wasted potential.
All right, guys, this is another one of those things. He was there. He made a splash. He was one of my favorite players. Years went by. I don't know what happened to him. So let's see.
Ryder's early years showcased his immense talent. He made a name for himself at UNLV, where his high-flying dunks and smooth scoring ability caught the attention of NBA scouts. However, his college years also hinted at troubling behavior. Ryder faced a suspension for hiring someone to complete his schoolwork, a red flag that foreshadowed future issues.
Okay, alright.
Despite these setbacks, his talent was undeniable, and he entered the 1993 NBA draft with high expectations. Selected 5th overall by the Timberwolves, Ryder wasted no time making an impact. As a rookie, he averaged 16.6 points per game and quickly became a fan favorite, not only for his scoring ability, but also for his dazzling athleticism. In 1994, he cemented his place in NBA lore by winning the slam dunk contest with his iconic East Bay Funk dunk,
Excuse me.
a between-the-legs masterpiece that remains one of the most celebrated dunks in NBA history. By his second season, Ryder was averaging over 20 points per game, and fans began to see him as one of the league's next great stars. This was during a transitional period in the NBA, with Michael Jordan briefly retired and the league searching for its next dominant shooting guard. Ryder's raw talent, combined with his flair for the dramatic, seemed to position him perfectly for superstardom. However, trouble was brewing beneath the surface. Ryder's personality and attitude soon began to overshadow his on-the-court brilliance. Teammates and coaches often described him as selfish, more focused on individual achievements than team success. Despite his undeniable skill, he struggled to fit into a team structure. This sense of entitlement only grew as he felt overlooked for accolades such as all-star selections. In later interviews, Ryder expressed frustration, claiming there was a conspiracy against him and arguing that his numbers were worthy of more recognition. Off the court, Ryder's behavior quickly became increasingly problematic. He developed a reputation for clashing with authority and frequent run-ins with the law. Substance abuse became a recurring issue. In 1996, he was arrested for possession and 4 illegal cell phones, raising suspicions about illicit activities.
Okay, the cell phones is a little sus. I mean, so far he's just been busted for a lot of weed. I mean, is what it is. We're in an era where it's legal in a lot of places, so in hindsight, I don't think too much of that. But what are you doing with 4 illegal phones?
Legal troubles and disciplinary issues began to strain his relationships with teams. After stints with the Blazers and Atlanta Hawks, Ryder's behavior became increasingly erratic. Despite leading the Hawks in scoring during the 2000 season with 19.3 points per game, he refused to attend drug counseling and frequently showed up late to practices. The Hawks eventually waived him mid-season, a rare and damning move for a team to release its leading scorer.
Yeah.
Ryder's NBA career effectively ended in 2002, when at just 30 years old he found himself blackballed by the NBA. His immense talents had been overshadowed by years of poor decisions, clashes with teammates and coaches, and an inability to stay out of trouble. After his playing days, Ryder's life continued to spiral downward. He was arrested multiple times for incidents ranging from domestic violence to cocaine possession. In one particularly alarming case, he was accused of kidnapping his own son, further tarnishing his reputation. These legal troubles painted a grim picture of a man who was unable to escape from his own demons. In recent years, Ryder has made an effort to turn around his life, founded a charity aimed at helping underprivileged kids, offering them the support and resources that he lacked growing up. Through speaking engagements and mentorship programs, Ryder has sought to use his story as a warning to others, highlighting the importance of discipline and wise decision-making.
Okay. All right.
Isaiah Ryder's story is a complex mess of brilliance and tragedy. On the court, he was a once-in-a-generation talent whose highlight reel plays captured the imagination of fans. Off the court, his struggles with substance abuse, legal issues, and difficult personality turned what should have been a Hall of Fame career into an absolute nightmare. Now, make sure you check out this other video I made here on NBA players who blackballed themselves, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Damn, great video. Great video. Isaiah Ryder, I'm glad things have kind of turned around as well, because that was getting pretty dark pretty fast there. Started out so innocent. It's just some weed. And then, yeah, whatever else he was doing. I don't know, maybe he was dealing or something. What else, you know, let me know down below. Like, what else do you do with 4 cell phones? I mean, well, it was 96, so just 4 phones. What's an illegal phone in 1996? What does that mean in 1996? Because nowadays, you know, some people have burner phones and stuff like that. And, you know, it's either for business or they're doing something shady. But back then in 1996, what did 4 illegal phones mean? What's an illegal phone? I don't know. I can only think that maybe it had to do with some kind of dealing, you know, some drug dealing, something like that. But that's just my assumption. So correct me down below if you have any more insight on that. But yeah, then the cocaine and then all the other stuff. Man, wow. What a 2-part video. I had no idea how dark this was going to be. But I guess I should have read the title and took it serious. The dark side of NBA Stardom. Everybody, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. We'll have a good conversation about it like we always do. Check out Switch County if you enjoyed this content. Yeah, the link is down below for you guys. I am mentally, or I'm emotionally exhausted from this one. So I'm going to go chill. Everybody, I'll see you in the comments, okay? We'll have a good conversation like we always do. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. And hit that bell notification if you want to get notified for the next one. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. And peace out.